This regular meeting of the Township of Ocean Board of Adjustment to order. Can we take attendance, then we do this. Just salute to the flag.
Mr. Ashkenazi?
Here.
Mr. Colombo?
Here.
Ms. Gill? Mrs. Tamura? Ms. Whitman?
Yes.
Mr. Puglielli?
Here.
Mr. Wineski?
Here.
Mr. Caramanica?
Here.
Vice Chairman DeGennaro?
Here.
And Chairman Pollak?
Here. Please rise and salute the flag.
With allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The notice requirements of the open public meeting law for this meeting have been satisfied. A copy of the notice having been sent to the Asbury Park Press and the Coaster is filed in the office of the Township Clerk. Emergency notice. There is emergency exits through the courtroom doors and 2 exits to the rear of the room. Please, folks, no smoking in this building. Board policy, no new cases will be started after 9 p.m. No new testimony taken after 9:30 p.m. In addition, the applicant will be limited to 45 minutes of testimony. Notice, all meetings will be video and audio taped and shown on Township of Ocean's Community Cable Channel, Channel 22 on Verizon Fios, Channel 77 on Cablevision. All cell phones must be turned off. If you need to make a call, please take your call outside of the meeting room. Resolutions to be memorialized. Sam Gabby, 8 Monmouth Road, Block 5, Lot 35.
Mr. Chairman, I think it's all the same people on all of them, so I don't know how we take them together.
All right. Also, Irene Shore, 30 Northwoods Drive, Block 35.02, Lot 6.
Is there anyone up here who's not eligible?
Mr. Puglielli?
Mr. Puglielli not eligible. I'll motion. Positive. I'll second.
All right, Mr. Ashkenazi?
Yes.
Mr. Colombo?
Yes.
Ms. Whitman?
Yes.
Mr. Wineski?
Yes.
Mr. Caramanica?
Yes.
Vice Chairman DeGennaro?
Yes.
And Chairman Pollak?
Yes. The following cases are to be carried to the December meeting and will notice for said meeting. Stephen and Joe Dweck, 2 Dwight Drive, Block 40.01, Lot 17, in the R3 zone.
And so, Mr. Chairman, that application is being carried, as you just said. If anyone's here on 2 Dwight Drive for Stephen and Joe Dweck, that's not being heard tonight. You need to be here on December 18th in this room at 7 p.m., although apparently you will receive new notice.
Okay. Now, the following case will be carried to the December meeting and will not require notice.
February. No, you're jumping to 55, right?
That's right. Thanks, guys. 55, WPR Holdings, LLC, 55 Wanamassa Point Road, Block 113, Lot 35 in the R6 zone.
All right, so, Mr. Chairman, if anyone's here on that application, again, that's 55 WPR Holdings LLC, 55 Wanamassa Point Road. That is not being heard this evening. That is instead going to be heard at the December 18th meeting of this board at 7 p.m. in this room, and you will not receive any further notice. If you want to be heard on the application, please be here at that time and in this place.
Okay, the following case was carried to the February meeting and will notice for said meeting. Michael Roshanzamir, 130 Roosevelt Avenue, Block 55, Lot 3 in the R2 zone.
All right, and Mr. Chairman, I'm just looking up what the February date is. 2 seconds. That'd be February 19th, if I'm looking at this correct. Correct, yes. All right, so February 19th, if anyone's here for that application, Michael Shamsdamir, 130 Roselle Avenue, Block 55, Lot 3. That application is not being heard tonight. It will instead be heard on February 19th at 7 p.m. in this room, although you will receive new notice on that matter.
Okay, so on to regular business. It's going to take the prerogative of the chair. We have an awful lot of first responders in this room, and I worry if something happened, there'd be too many people in here. So if we could have, start off with the Township of Ocean Fire District Number 2, 2001 Sunset Avenue, Block 114, Lots 1-3 and 12. Come on up, gentlemen. Attorney for the applicants, Mr. Richard Braslow.
My name is Bob Shea from RC Shea Associates. I'll be handling this application in lieu of Mr. Braslow, who's a dear friend and a good man.
I'm sorry, can I put your name again?
Robert Shea from RC Shea Associates.
Okay, all right.
Good, how you doing?
I'm going to mark in the following exhibits. Exhibit A1 will be the variance application itself. Exhibit A2 will be the report from code enforcement. I'm sorry, that's not right. Exhibit A2 will be the storm calculations. Exhibit A3 will be the soils and foundation investigation report. And Exhibit A4 will be the site plan prepared by the architect. Then we have the following exhibits which we're going to mark in on behalf of the board. Exhibit D1 will be the report from code enforcement. Exhibit D2 will be the report from DPW. Exhibit D3 will be the report from traffic safety. Exhibit D4 will be the Fire Prevention Bureau report. Exhibit D5 will be the Board of Planners report. Exhibit D6 will be the Board of Engineers report. And then I guess I'll add as Exhibit A5 the driveway easement agreement with 1405 B&M. I'm assuming that's the applicant's decision. Those are all the exhibits that I have pre-marked.
All right. All right, members of the board, Mr. Chairman, the applicant in this application is Fire District 2, which is a taxable entity of the Township of Ocean. We're seeking an inherently beneficial use, seeking additions and alterations to an existing fire department house. Question exists as to whether the applicant whether the application itself should be considered a courtesy review. However, with that being said, out of respect for the board, the township, zoning determination was made that proper jurisdiction is in front of that of the zoning board. We're respecting that decision. For the record, I just like to say, I've had in other townships view these type of applications as courtesy reviews. So with that being said, we're just going to respect the jurisdiction that was called by the board, of the zoning officer, and move forward with the application. The application exists of two parcels, one located in the C1 neighborhood commercial zone, one located in the R6 high-density single-family residential zone. We're seeking a D3 use variance with a D6 height variance with bulk standard relief for parking and setback requirements that will be subsumed under the D3 variance standard. So there's no need to issue their own, will be subsumed under the D3 variance. We're relying upon the board engineer review letter from CME dated November 7th, 2025, and the board planner review letter from Higgins Associates dated October 29th, 2025. With that, I'd like to request the board to swear my expert, Robbie Conley, into the record. He's going to be testifying as that of a professional planner and that of a professional architect, and then we can move on from there.
Mr. Connolly, do you swear testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
And just state your name for the record.
Robbie Conley, C-O-N-L-E-Y.
And you are a licensed planner, state of New Jersey?
I'm a licensed planner in the state of New Jersey.
Your license is in good standing.
Yes.
All right, thank you. Go ahead.
Okay, I think I'm better standing up.
You want to? Yes.
Okay, basically, most of you probably know the property that we're talking about. You know where the firehouse is. But I just want to go over quickly for you what we're looking at.
All right, Mr. Conley, you're referring to what the marked in as Exhibit A4.
TS2?
Yeah, that's the site plan, correct?
Yes, the site
You
plan.
marked that as A4.
Okay. So basically what you're looking at, Vina Avenue, Sunset Avenue, Wickapecker, the existing firehouse sits here with some parking behind. There's a township-owned parking lot here, which is along Wickapecker Drive and North Wanamassa Drive. This piece of property here, the township gave that over to an agreement to the Board of Fire Commissioners for them to build this addition onto the property. The only changes to the township parking lot is currently this is the driveway. We submitted this to the township and they were okay with us closing off that driveway, making the only access off of Wanamassa Drive. Multiple reasons, one being it's much safer for ingress and egress off of Wanamassa Drive, and we can separate the emergency vehicles from the public coming out there. Plus, we pull further away from the light. So, that gives you an overview of how we got to the addition to the building. The addition to the building is going on this piece of property right here, which is the property that the Board of Fire Commissioners received from the township to build this building. What we're looking at, the property line is right about here, where this is the commercial section, C1. This is the R6 back here. This portion of the building, which the existing firehouse is partially in the R6 use. So we're actually looking at an extension of an existing use on that property. So, this piece here. So, we've already said it's an inherently beneficial use. So, if we want to talk about the negative criteria, and it's a conditional use in this district, in both districts, and we need to meet the conditions. So, the conditions are that the building meets the aesthetic value of the neighborhood, is not a detriment to the neighborhood, and we feel that this addition, because it's an addition to an existing building that is already operational in the neighborhood, is an inherently beneficial use, and is also aesthetically similar to the exact existing firehouse. We feel that we already meet all those criteria that is put forth in the ordinance for a conditional use in both zones. So.
And just so the record's clear, the exact standard is the design of any building in connection to the facility conforms to the general character of the zone and will no way adversely affect the safe and comfortable enjoyment of the property rights of the zone. So, given Mr. Conley's testimony, it's an existing building, it's already there. It's a stone throw away from the neighborhood next door. The addition is going to be added onto the existing structure. It's not going to change the dynamic of the facility of the existing site, and it really doesn't impact the enjoyment of any property rights within a zone that already exists.
Correct. So, I think that is really where we're at with the questions. Let me go over Mr. Higgins. Let me look at my notes here. We're also talking about a height variance. And the height variance in the commercial zone, the maximum height is 35 feet. In the residential zone, the maximum height is 30 feet. The peak of the building that we're planning on putting there is 38 feet. Now, basically, the wall itself to the soffit is 28 feet. And then the peak, of course, is up above that. Your ordinance does measure to the peak of the roof. Some ordinances measure to the mean of that peak, some to the soffit. Yours does go to the peak of the roof. The reason why we need to have that additional height of the building is because we're putting the fire trucks on the first floor. And the fire trucks have to raise the second floor up higher. And so with that, to put a second floor above that, we do need that variance for the height to be able to get that, or basically we wouldn't be able to get the use within the building, because the use is what we have for the fire trucks on the first floor, which they're hoping to be able to take all of the equipment and the old firehouse across the street and move it into this building and consolidate. And then the other spaces up above are meeting and training rooms, kitchen, things like that they need for their operations that they don't really have in this building, but they do have across the street. And the idea is to consolidate and condense everything into this one newer building with the addition on it. And that's where the need for that height variance comes in, because we need to be able to fit all of that in there without spreading it out further on that property. So, the other thing that we were looking at is a setback variance. And unfortunately, this property is sitting on three corners, 3 streets. It's fronted on 3 streets. So therefore, what most people would look at that building and think is the side yard is actually the only rear yard to the property. And the ordinance calls for a 25-foot setback to the rear yard. Well, if we had to maintain that 25-foot setback to the rear yard, which let me jump over here and show you, since we have Rickapecca Drive, Sunset Avenue, Arena, this is the only place that could be considered a rear yard, because these 3 have to be considered front yards. So basically, if we had to maintain that 25-foot setback, then we wouldn't be able to build the addition at all. So we're kind of trying to maintain the side yard setback there, which would make sense off of Rickapecca Drive, and keep the building away from the property there.
I believe that you would view those as special reasons for this type of variance, correct?
That is correct. So I believe that these are special reasons why that these variances should be approved, and again, for an inherently beneficial use that is an expansion of what's already there.
All right. Now, just as to the particular suitability of the proposed use, this site is particularly suited for this type of endeavor because of the existing nature of the site, correct?
Yes, exactly.
And as to the negative detriment to the public good, there really is no negative detriment because of the nature in which the inherently beneficial use is being conducted. So if you can just expand on that.
Correct. So, yes, I mean, it's an inherently beneficial use. There really is no negative criteria to try to testify to. It's a positive use. It's an existing use. It's not like we're going to put a new firehouse in the middle of a residential zone, which we would be allowed to do, but we're putting it as an addition onto an existing firehouse that's already there. So again, that takes care of some of the negative criteria that you would have putting a firehouse in the middle of a residential zone.
And there's nothing here that would either impair the intent or purpose of the local zoning ordinances, correct?
No, I believe it meets your zoning ordinances, and the fact that it is over 2 different use groups where it is, it definitely meets your C use group a lot more than it meets your R6, but I think it makes a lot of sense to have this building be at that location, as opposed to being somewhere else in the township.
Anyone have any questions?
Nope.
Any questions from the public? Can we turn to Jim? What do you think, Jim? Oh, somebody coming up? Oh, sorry, yeah, come on up.
Do we want to have the professionals?
Well, I asked if anybody had questions, so let's...
It's up to you. Yeah.
Swear you in. You swear testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do.
And just state your name, spell your last name for the record,
Julia Valente, V-A-L-E-N-T-E,
and your address and selected.
1405 Vina Avenue, Lucky Lot 11, you will see on your site plans. Can we switch this to the site plan view showing the survey? Sorry, guys,
Are you asking about the...
I have a few questions. Yep, this is good. Okay, perfect.
What sheet are we looking at in the report?
This is SP1.
Thank you.
All right, I'd like to start out saying I am in full support of the Fire One Master District Firehouse. I am happy that you guys are improving the building. I saw the plans. It looks beautiful. I just have a few questions for the professionals. Obviously, you guys have a fiduciary responsibility to your clients to prepare plans on their behalf. And so, in regards to the easement, I'm concerned right here, the setback. You don't show building corners, a driveway, or a garage in lot 11. So really, no one sees how close these stairs are going to be to a garage. Almost butt up against each other, because there's a garage that sits right on this property line. So this survey just doesn't give a full picture, I would say, of the setback issue I'm raising. You're not the surveyor,
No.
so you can't you don't know what you... Yeah, okay.
So the survey was done for the property, the firehouse-owned property, and it was
Yeah.
also done for the township-owned property.
Yeah.
But the survey was not done for the neighboring property.
Well, naturally, you're surveying a property for you're not a surveyor, so I understand this isn't really a question, I guess, at this point, but you would show that a driveway was encroaching into their property, you don't show that.
My understanding is that the easement that is here
Yeah, which isn't shown.
was given, it is shown on here, and the easement was put there was given for the property. And we do have a copy of that easement that was submitted to the township as part of the application.
Yes.
And the fence that is not going to be moved.
Okay.
So that existing fence that's there, the vinyl fence, will still be there.
You're showing it here and then cutting out around lot 11?
The fence actually comes along here. And our sidewalk is going to come along that fence,
Okay.
and then it will cut out behind this where the parking lot into the C1.
I'm concerned that this building corner right here is sitting, this property corner is sitting a building corner. Is my concern.
That's an exterior.
That there'll be enough space
Yes.
to hip around there.
Yes.
Okay.
And we can make a couple of conditions for the record. So, number one, condition, the fence will not be moved, not touching the fence. Condition two, is that we obviously can't infringe on any existing easement area. We have no intention of doing that. The easement is recorded, it's deed, it runs with the property, runs with the chain of title. We're not going to be touching the easement at all, so you're not going to worry about that.
I just think it's showing, the adjacent improvements would have, drawn a better picture.
If we had a better survey,
Yes. The second thing is,
Clarification to Julia, actually, if you look at TS2, there's a color photo, I'm just trying to see on this, it's this area where the,
am I allowed up here?
yeah.
Yeah,
So you refer these two.
So the property line is really here. So this is the property line here. Yeah, so this is where they're proposing the steps right here, and I'm just concerned it's landing right on my building corner. I have a door right there. So I open my door and I'm actually standing in their property, this is
Your property is fenced in on that,
yes,
and that fence will not.
will not be moved. Okay.
Will not be moved.
Whose property is the fence on?
The firehouse property.
All right, so I want to be clear, you're making a condition of approval, you're offering this, that the fireman can never touch that fence unless they come back in here and ask for relief.
well, so the fence, I believe, we had no intention of moving or touching at all.
I understand that, you're not having any desire to touch it today. But I want to make sure that you're prohibiting the fire company from, as the fire district, from ever
They have to make an amendment,
Okay, I'm fine with it, I just want to make sure that's what you're doing.
Could they at least, we could say that they would replace the fence with a different fence?
Okay. I just, when you don't see the building
The fence is it's on your property, that's what I'm being told.
Okay, so then if we already, that's
All right, so if you're going to maintain, you cannot remove and you must maintain the existing fence.
that's correct.
Yes.
Just be careful, your drawings say remove the fence and reinstall it. That's what your drawings say on SP1.
My client indicated to me that they weren't going to touch the fence at all. So,
Remove and reinstall if need be for the construction, but now that that fence was closer to the property line when we didn't know there was an easement. Now that we know there's an easement, that fence will not be removed. It will remain there. And we'll make that change on the drawing.
Yeah, just bring it up in the...
Maintain the fence, can we say fence? And if it's dilapidated, kind of it's bad repair.
No, it's a vinyl, I'm sorry, it's a vinyl, white
They wear
vinyl
out.
fence.
And so I'm saying, instead of, we're saying forever, you gotta keep that fence.
Yeah, they've got to keep that fence in good condition, is that's all I'm saying.
How about a fence?
We're good,
Yeah,
they're
they can
firemen,
fix it.
we'll take care of it.
I've seen people pour footings over.
Yeah, we're not gonna touch the fence.
Okay, I'm going, next question.
It's gonna be as a condition of.
Okay, and then my next, bullet item, I guess, was, regarding your height variance that you guys were going for. I know, this is, you're just adding on to the firehouse. I didn't know if, there could be some consideration to, lowering the building height that's going to basically be I don't want to use the word towering over my property. I just, future negative criteria. If I wanted to install solar panels, I'm no longer a candidate for any incentives on that because I will be blocked by a building. So I didn't know if you had I know you have plans for the second floor. I don't know if there's any way you can downsize it a few feet and be at your 30 feet recommended by the township ordinance.
I'm trying to get to the element.
Yeah, right here.
So basically, so that's the other side of the building. We're talking about this side here.
So this is what's looking at my property.
So, yes.
In lot 11.
About from here, that way would be the property.
You can't,
We're at 28 feet to the south, okay? And then this is going away from your building. So the height at 37 feet is really not going to affect your house.
okay,
The height that you need to be concerned about is approximately 28 feet to the fascia and soffit of the building.
okay. So just for context, right here is my garage, I guess I should say.
Okay.
And so this is 8 feet away from my garage, because my garage is on the property line. You're proposing it 8 feet from the property line, not 8 feet from the easement, correct?
Correct. 8 feet from the property.
So the fence
So you
and my garage is 8 feet exactly. So the
garage
property,
easement or it's
no, it's on the property line. So on the other side of the fence that you're not touching is going to be 8-foot setback to the property line.
yes.
Okay. I'm just, no room for error here is all I'm saying, because that's exactly 8 feet to my garage.
And there'd be a 6-foot fence.
Yes. Okay.
And your portion of the easement has to be on that side of that fence.
Correct.
So the easement is given to you, but the fence.
It's just the numbers.
The fence is on the fire department side of the easement, and the easement was a 6-foot easement? 10-foot easement? So that would mean that your garage has to be at least 10 feet away from that fence. So therefore, your garage is 18 feet away, or approximately 18 feet away from the building.
The easement's 3.38.
Okay, it's 3.3, okay. So it's approximately 12 feet.
Okay.
Not 8.
I just want to...
I think just this congestion.
We're on the same page. So I believe the property line is 8 feet from the building, correct? And then the fence is in between there, 3.83 feet, or 3.38 feet from lot 11, and then there's, whatever the difference is, 4.62 feet from that building. So there's enough room for a 4-foot concrete walkway in between the fence and the new proposed building.
Okay.
If you want a higher fence, my client may be able to accommodate, but they would have to seek an additional variance for that. So we're just offering you additional.
You need a variance for a higher than 5-foot fence, solid fence?
6 foot is allowed in the zone.
Okay, I think you're proposing a 5-foot.
No, it's a 6-foot.
Oh, there is
Six foot.
existing, okay. The previous plans must have said proposing 5-foot, that I saw. Okay, all right. I think that's it. So, nothing you can do about the height.
The height is, unfortunately, they need that for the equipment, they need that for the trucks.
Yeah, I mean, the trucks are basically up to here, so they need that space.
So could you walk me through, I'm on the second floor, what room is this? Just so I know, because I'm staring at my bedroom at this window.
Your living room.
A living room? Okay.
Basically a living room.
Can we keep walking down that hallway? I'm curious what the interior is going to.
The interior, this is really what we would get into during planning, but we're more than happy to do it right now. So in the rear of the building, there's a door coming in, and this is the stair tower, elevator, and this is the engine bays for the apparatus on the first floor. On the second floor, you come up, there's an alert station here, what's called a ready room, kitchen in the center, and then this is the training room in the front.
Okay. It's a long living room.
Basically,
ready room.
the ready room is basically a living room. That's where the firemen sit, and, you know, and then their alarm station is there, alarm desk, whatever.
Okay. Where was the kitchen?
The kitchen is in the
In
middle.
here. So there's nothing you can, like,
No, I mean,
multi-purpose room?
they really need the ready room, and they need the training room
I
at the
understand.
size that they are.
Absolutely. I
What
understand.
happens with the second floor is that they want to expand the operational training, and they need the second floor to have the floor to do that, and they also need the elevator to bring the equipment up. So it's kind of part and parcel of that whole spirit and intent there.
And the elevator is required by code. Whenever you spend public money, you have to have an elevator. And the uses that are on the second floor across the street,
Mm-hmm.
and they're hoping.
Can we make that? Okay. All right. Thank you.
Any more questions from the public? Come on up, sir.
So just to swear you in, you swear your testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yep.
Just state your name for the record,
Jesse Clone,
and just spell that last name,
K-O-L-O-D-I-N,
and your address.
2002, North Wanamassa.
2002, North Monmouth. Go ahead.
Quick question. So the site plans that we saw, it didn't seem like there was any landscaping improvement from what there is currently. And I know that you guys are going over about 19% as far as the variance, one of the variances that you're also asking for, right? The building space, I think it's going from 27 to 46.
No, the building is currently, or the property is currently 100%, or almost 100%, impervious coverage, and the space that we're taking and putting the building on is currently impervious coverage.
So there's not going to be any landscaping improvements?
There is going
By
to
any
be
chance?
landscaping along the side of the building on the parking lot side,
Mm-hmm.
and there might be some landscaping in the front of the building.
So the landscaping on the parking lot side already exists. So,
We're going
yeah.
to replace it when we build the building there, and we get rid of this drive aisle. Along the building, we will put in some landscaping along that side of the building.
Do you guys have like a satellite image of like the rendering, or is it just blueprint? The only reason why I'm asking is because, you know, I mean, I understand that it is impermeable surface now, but it's also to grade, and so now you're basically adding
So
elevation to
basically, when we
it.
put the addition on this side of the building, we will put landscaping along this side of the building.
Okay, and anything as far as infrastructure, drainage, or any of that nature to enhance any of the permeability in this area? Because the sink is towards North Wanamassa, right? So basically all the runoff comes through this area. And what,
Yes, the runoff currently flows like that. What we are doing is we're putting a small little basin here that will pipe it back to here, and all of the downspouts are going down and recharging into the ground.
so you are putting infrastructure in for drainage in this construction project? One pipe, okay. And that's redirecting, you said, back where, towards Sunset?
Back towards Sunset.
Okay, and that's happening on my neighbor's property, correct? Julie, who was
On the
yourself?
fire department property.
It is, okay.
Yes.
All right.
All right, that was, I think, one of the main questions that I saw there, so,
And
thank you.
just to be clear, what happens with the drainage is that, based upon the new laws that just came out a few years ago, every applicant has to comply with the stormwater regs.
Yep.
Those regs are like almost 50% more stringent than they were prior to that, for the prior decade. Every time an applicant has to do that, they actually have to reduce the exposure to the elements with the water that comes in the property. So this will actually be more efficient as a result of complying with the new regs as opposed to the stormwater management system that's on the property right now, which applies to the old regs. So it's kind of like an upgrade with higher standards.
Okay.
Yeah, just to give you a background.
Yeah, no, that's exactly what I was asking for, so, perfect. Thank you very much for explaining.
Appreciate it.
Any more questions from the public? Come on up, sir.
So, Mr. Haley, you swear testimony about to be able to give the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Just state your name for the record.
James Valenti,
Spell your last name
Valente,
and your address.
1405 Vine Avenue.
Thank you. Go ahead.
I did not hear this, or did not hear it correctly, so the vinyl fence that's there now
Yes,
is not going to be touched.
correct.
And directly behind that vinyl fence, what's going to be there?
Directly behind,
On the firehouse side?
on the firehouse side?
Yep.
For the most part, grass. There's going to be an area that's going to be sidewalk where there's a door to get into the side of the firehouse.
Okay. So it's not going to be fence 28 foot?
No.
What's the buffer there?
Well, we're 8 foot off the property line. So it's approximately fenced in, probably about 5.5 feet or so to the building.
Okay. Cool, that's it. I just need to paint the picture.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
I just wanted to clarify that. It's actually 4.62 feet. 4.5 feet. Yeah.
Any more questions from the public? Okay, Mr. Higgins.
Yeah, I don't have too much to say. I basically agree with the testimony that's been given, but just want to give you some guidance as far as what you're voting on. And you're voting on a D3 variance. Now, a D3 variance, everybody thinks that D variances are use variances. It's not a use variance. The use is permitted. And it's there. Now, what you're voting for on is a deviation from a specification or standard pursuant to section 54, which is conditional use, and the pertaining solely to a conditional use. So you're voting on the deviation from the condition of the use. You're not voting on the use itself. You still need as Mark will agree, you still need the 5 votes. But it's not a use issue, and while they've been talking about the fact this is an inherently beneficial use, I think as a planner, and Mark can disagree with me as an attorney, but I think you can take that into consideration, but it's not like it's a D1 use variance where if it's an inherently beneficial use, that's the special reason. The special reasons have to be that the site can accommodate the use despite the deviation from that standard. And the same thing with the height variance, the standard is the same whether the site can accommodate the use despite the deviation. And in this case, the C1 section, it's not a D variance, it's a C variance, it's only 3 feet, which is 10%, it's less than 10% of the requirement. But when you go to the R6 area, it's 8 feet, which is more than 10% of the requirement, so that makes it the D6 variance. But again, you've got to decide whether or not the site can accommodate the use despite those deviations.
Okay. Any other questions from Mr. Higgins? Mr. Matlack?
I don't have anything else for the planner. Do you have a separate engineer?
No.
Okay. Well, then I'll just go through a couple things in my report. There's a few stormwater management and grading comments that I had in the report. For the most part, they are technical in nature, and I think they can be resolved with some plan revisions. I also noted that the parking is being reduced from 53 spaces on site to 43 spaces while the building is being enlarged. So the required number of spaces is 67. Now, the parking that's on site there is a municipal parking lot. So it's kind of, I think the applicant can talk about this, but the number of parking spaces required may not necessarily, for this use, may not necessarily be 67, but that is what the ordinance requires, and they're providing 43. And there's also a light fixture that is 8 feet from the property line, from a residential property, lot 11, where it's required to be 25 feet, and that requires a variance.
Okay. The light fixture, I'm confused on that. Is that the one that's at the back door?
I believe it is. Just pull up
Because
the lighting plan.
if it's the one that's at the back door, we can either do a canopy so that light shines down, so it will not be shining on the neighbor's property, or we could make sure that it's got a cutoff on it, but that's required by code to have a light at it, an exit door, and an egress door.
We'll stipulate to that as a condition.
Yes, yeah, that's the one on the building.
Okay, that's what I thought, and we're more than happy to, most likely, we'll put a canopy there
Yep.
over top of it with the light shining down, so that way it's not shining in the neighbor's yard.
My client already indicated that all the lights on the property are already on a timer, I believe, so we can make sure that that's on the timer as well. Make sure it's code compliant.
And as for the parking, do you have more you want to go through, or can we
No,
go
that
through?
was
Okay.
it.
As for the parking, your ordinance lumps a firehouse in with a police station, a post office. I think there was another, one that was in there. Let me see if police station, fire, post offices. So it's 250 square feet per parking space. I went through and just did a quick look at the firehouse itself, the existing and the new. And though it's a 16,000 square foot building, over 12,000 square feet of that building is storage, circulation, and toilet facilities, locker, showers, toilets. These are, even though your ordinance does say gross, but these are areas that would normally be taken out in most ordinances, and then we roll down to what accounts to about 20 parking spaces would be what this building would need. And I think, Rich, that seems to make a little bit more sense, 20 parking spaces.
Yeah.
So, for the fire department. So I don't think that cutting that number of parking spaces in this area is going to be a detriment to the project. And especially when the fire department does have training or something like that, that's most likely going to be in the evening. And all of the businesses across the street are closed in the evening or closed earlier. So I don't think that there's going to be an issue with the parking there anyway.
And just to be clear, I think they only have about 20 to 25 or so volunteers. Only 10 are on site at any point in time. When the training occurs, only those 10 that are in the building will be doing the training. They rotate when they're doing that. So it's our position that 67 is kind of excessive based upon the fact that they don't even have, they probably would love 67 volunteers, but they don't have them at this point in time. And there's only 10 on site at any point in time.
Will there be any social events there?
No.
Is there any way to rent out a room at the firehouse or anything like that?
No.
We can stipulate that.
So do they need
The condition of approval, there's no rentals of the firehouse.
Yeah, this one.
Do we need a variance for parking though?
I don't think so.
So, yeah, I believe it would be subsumed under the D3 if...
Yeah, well, no, it wouldn't be subsumed
You
under
can
the
assume
D3. It
under
would be a
D3.
separate,
You got the
separate
argument to work for a D1.
D1, yeah.
But it
yeah,
can't
not
work for a
yeah.
D3.
I would say, just to be safe, that we do ask for that variance.
Yeah, but I would go for it just to be safe, too. Realistically, with the, public facility right next to it, I don't think it's gonna be an issue.
Okay.
So, I think that concludes, my testimony.
I believe that is all we have.
Yeah, so thank you. I appreciate everybody's time. I appreciate the professionals. We've had some conversations and some back and forth, and also the attorney. And, Nicole, thank you for all your help too. Appreciate it. Thank you for your time, and hopefully you'll look favorable upon us.
Okay. Does anyone from the public have any statements they want to make on this case? Okay. Then we'll close the public hearing.
I'll move to close the public hearing.
We don't have to move. We don't have to vote on that anymore. Thank you, Mark. We used to vote on that. You missed last month. So, do we have, anyone going to offer a positive resolution?
I'll offer a positive resolution.
I'll second.
All right, Mr. Ashkenazi?
Yes.
Mr. Gallomo?
Yes, and thank you, Monmouth Fire Company, for all you do. It's greatly appreciated.
Ms. Whitman?
Yes, and I second that. Thank you for your service.
Mr. Pugliari?
Yes, thank you for your service.
Mr. Lasky?
Yes, thank you.
Mr. Caramanica?
Yes, thank you.
Vice Chairman DeGenaro?
Yes.
And Chairman Foley?
Yes. Thank you all.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, everybody. Appreciate it. Thank you for your time.
That's okay, then.
That's all I wanted. Are you doing the seeking administrative?
Yeah, we're going to do it right now.
There's lots of people in the fire department.
Okay, as these folks leave, next up will be hearing Michael Seller and Vera Esses, 324 Roosevelt Avenue, Block 22, Lot 7, seeking administrative approval for changes from a previous approval. Seller and Esses.
Michael Seller and Vera.
Attorney for the applicant. Have a good night. Hello, Ms. Krimko.
Good evening, Mr. Fuller, members of the board. My name is Jennifer Krimko from Manchester Aaron here on behalf of the applicant. As you know, I did not represent the applicant at the time of the original variance. Excuse me, they were represented by just the architect. And the time they came, it was purely for a lot width variance. The house fully conformed, and they showed you the house that they intended to build at that time. However, since then, they hired a builder and hired a designer who's been working with the architect in order to make some modifications without them knowing that those modifications would require them to come back here, even though it doesn't create any new variances. But because it is the board's policy that whatever plans are approved have to be constructed, any changes need to be run by you, even if there's really no variances to be offered. So I worked with the architect and had the plans prepared that were submitted to you. And if I could just take a moment and walk you through the changes. So on CP1, it just shows some architectural changes that are being made, particularly at the foundations and bump outs. And what I did was the top is what was approved, the bottom is what's proposed, and each and every change is highlighted in red with a bubble. So it's really just some bump outs in order to give some more architectural style. When you go to page 2, you see those bump outs on the first floor. Those are really the only changes as it relates to the first floor. When you go to the second page, you also see really just those bump outs. And as you're going to hear, a majority of the changes are just architecturally designed in nature. Some of the roof lines are changed, which you can see in this second floor plan over the first floor. Again, no real changes. The one change was adding, originally they had a pull down to the attic, and they wanted to put a stair into the attic. So you see a stair up into the attic. Now, interestingly, the architectural plans that you had before you did show an attic pull down, but never showed you the attic floor plan. So they'd always intended to have an attic, but they unfortunately didn't present to you the attic floor plan. So that's why when you go to page 4, you'll see that while the hatch was shown in the prior plan, there never was an attic floor plan. So what they're proposing to do is build out at some point a finished attic, not necessarily as part of this first phase, but in order to have the ceiling height for that finished attic, they had to make changes to the roof line, which necessitated coming back to the board. It will eventually be a maximum of 2 additional bedrooms, and as you'll see, we have more than enough parking to accommodate that. That doesn't create an issue. When you go to the next page, and again, like I said, I'm going quickly because the changes are really architectural on the exterior. It just shows the changes to the roof line in order to accommodate some dormers and the like. Now, when you go to page 6, you can see the differences. They're proposing some dormers, some changes to roof line, house architecturally different feeling, a little bit more modern. Most importantly, the max height to the top of the building. Actually, they have it measured wrong here. They are showing it to you from the elevation. It's 34 feet 9 inches, where, as you know, you actually measure your height from the finished floor. So it's well under the 35 feet that's required. And so there's some squaring off of some of the areas. If you look in the front, breaking down the front opening with one large 1-story, adding the dormers, changing out some windows, changing some roof lines. And then as you go through, you can just see the changes as you go through. Again, it's not something that this board would typically review because there's no architectural design standards here. It's really just the changing of the roof height and some changing of the architecture. And then as you go through it. And that's really the sum and substance of it. Obviously, the additional bedrooms, if we did not need parking, would be an issue. But when you, I'm sorry that these aren't. I hope yours are stapled. Mine were not.
Yeah.
I didn't submit them directly. They were submitted directly by the architect. So if you go back to the original approval, there is a massive driveway that could fit up to, I think, 8 or 10 cars. It was a circular driveway with a ledge that went on. And obviously, that would be subject to the zoning officer anyway. We're not seeking any variances. So it's really just to show you that when you drive by it, we're seeking to have the architectural style a little bit different than what you saw, but no new variances are required.
Ms. Kimco, what were the variances for originally?
There was one variance. It was for lot width.
It was lot width.
That's it.
So you're okay on height,
And everything.
and with the changes to the roof line, you're still okay on height?
I wouldn't have come before you administratively if we weren't.
Obviously, we didn't see plans for the attic, right? And now the plans show 2 bedrooms, so that obviously makes people think, what's going on, right? But if you had come and shown just an attic and then had it built this way, it never would have shown, you wouldn't have had to show bedrooms in that situation,
Well, we would have. So,
would you?
and I can explain why. So originally, unfortunately, they didn't have the designer at the time, and they didn't have the input of what their future would be here, so they didn't think about it. Originally, it showed pull-down stairs. So, for example, had this house been built, and it was all done, and the roof line would have to be lifted. That's really what we're here for. We're showing you the interior because one day they want to do it, so they want to frame it out in a way that they can do it one day. But 10 years from now, if they came in for building permits and said, we want to add a staircase and build out bedrooms, as long as it didn't create any variances, they'd be entitled to do that. The lot, once a house is there, the lot width, it's only because there's no construction done yet, and we were still in the process of resolution compliance and seeking building permits, that brings us back here.
Any other questions? Mark, what's the process here? Somebody moves to,
Normally have, you can open to the public if you wish.
yeah. Does anyone have, any questions from the public?
And that is just a motion to, define that you want to grant the
I'll make a motion to approve the
I'll second.
administrative.
Mr. Ashkenazi?
Yes.
Mr. Guillermo?
Yes.
Ms. Whitman?
Yes.
Mr. Fitzgerald?
Yes.
Mr. Linaski?
Yes.
Mr. Caramanica?
Yes.
Vice Chairman DeGenaro?
Yes.
Chairman Fuller?
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
I'd like to say you're getting rid of me, but not yet.
Don't go anywhere.
Yeah. Mr. Donna, do you have your, what? Yep.
I think.
Okay. Mr. Donna, would you object if we did, Mr. Towell before you? It's a very short. You sure? Okay, thank you for your indulgence. Mr. Towell, come on up.
Good evening.
Certainly, yep.
All right, I'm going to mark in the following, Mr. Chairman. A1 will be the variance application. A2 will be the architectural plan. A3 will be the shed spec. And A4 will be the addition and driveway grading plan. I then have the following board exhibits. Exhibit B1 will be the zoning officer's report. B2 will be the board planner's report. B3 will be the board engineer's report. B4 will be the zoning board resolution dated 7/1/2022. Exhibit B5 will be the amended zoning board resolution dated August 18, 2022. And then I have as exhibit B6 will be the zoning board resolution dated 5/16/2024. And, Ms. Howell, I will swear you in. Do you swear in testimony you will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Thank you. And just state your name for the record.
Kenneth Towell?
And you're the owner of the property, correct?
Yes.
Thank you.
Hello, sir. What brings you here, sir?
Seeking some additional variances on the property, one being a front yard setback, a rear setback, and increased in size of the shed. The front yard setback, if you guys can see that, the house had a...
So let me mark that in as exhibit A. How many photographs do you have?
Not so many.
Is it
Really, only like two are gonna help me, although just to give some background on the property.
Well, I just need to know for the record how many there are. We'll mark them all as one package.
One, two, I think three.
So, as exhibit A5 will be a series of 3 photographs of the house, right?
Well, this one's just for the front.
No, but I'm saying in general, they're all
Yes,
for your
that's
house.
right, yes.
And did you take these photographs?
I did.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so, the prior house, which is now in construction, had a awning, and my plans didn't include that, and I'm like, how can the shelter ourselves from the rain? So we wanted to encroach on the setback by adding an awning, and give the house, an architectural character by coming out like 12 inches only on the first 12 feet of the house. So it's just not a straight wall with an awning. Looks kind of weird. Looks very, institutional, not really residential. So we're trying to bring that back into the house for shelter. If you see here, I don't know if so now, should I switch to the rear yard setback?
Yeah, just keep going with photographs, we marked them all.
Okay, so, the house had a two-car garage before, which was pretty humongous. The town allowed a 10 by 15 shed. I'm asking to increase that, 10 by 20. My neighbor's property, as you can see here, it's just a bunch of Leyland's. His property is on the second lot, I'd say 50 feet over and back. And my neighboring property at Nelson, he has a shed right on my fence, so really, it's not really gonna bother him because his shed's in the way. And the need for it is, and the hardship is that, we have a lot of pool equipment, bicycles, and a growing family, garden equipment, and giving this up to allow a bigger house, gave up a lot of shelter and storage. So we're asking for that shed. And then the final one was in the rear of the house, we're asking for 0.8 inches in the back, just to square the house off. I don't know how I'm gonna explain that to you, but it's on the grading plan.
We have it, yep.
So if you see in the back, the house had a little bit of a jog in the extension, and we just wanted to square it off because having that jog in the back was going to make the bedroom come in 0.8 inches and not make it all straight for a bed, so.
That's like a 6 square foot addition?
Yeah, it's, not very big. And that's really it, right? I don't think there's much more to it.
Any questions from the board? Nope. So where you said where your, shed's going to be is up against, next to your neighbor's shed?
Yeah, so prior, it would be 5 feet from that shed I showed you. I just want to go the other way 5 feet, and go that's all empty. I can show you the back of the lot right now.
But you're already planning on putting that shed, you're already planning on putting a shed there. You're going to do a little bit bigger, which in theory should be
Just
further
5 feet
away.
the other way, which is an empty lot, pretty much.
Okay. All right. Mr. Higgins, you have any comments?
I don't have a big problem with that. In the magnitude, it's not that big a difference, but it should be noted that if that shed were moved 5 feet to the south, the side yard setback deviation would be eliminated. You're not going to eliminate the rear yard setback because 30 feet is required.
Right.
Because of the size of the shed. But if it were moved just 5 feet to the south, you would have a 10-foot setback from that. There wouldn't be a variance required. So it's something you should consider.
Okay.
I don't know if there's any substantial planning justification for it. It's not a hardship, so it would have to be a C2 situation.
I appreciate that and I respect it. It's going to, on my property, just to the other side, there's nothing there at all. I just have some grass to give my family some more storage. And I have 7 bicycles.
Well, if you were to move it 5 feet and keep it the same size, you would still have the same storage.
Yeah, but then it's off-center in the back of the house. It kind of lines up nicely, and then you have this shed that's off-center, so it's not so pleasing. If you want to throw a ball or something, just in the way.
Mr. Matlack, you have any comments?
The only comment that I had in my review letter was there was a set of architecturals submitted to show the modification of the house, and now it looks like there's a third-story window, or an attic window, and I just wanted to clarify if that is a new addition to what was previously proposed, or...
No, that was actually there and was approved already. So I think Kate might have reached out to you in an email explaining that, so it's a nice time to meet. So. Thank you, guys.
Jim, did I cut you off? I'm sorry. Did you have anything else to say? Okay. Any questions, anyone?
The picture you showed with the shed, your neighbor's shed? Yeah, that one. Is that the back property? That's the south side?
The back is where the trees are, there's nothing here at all. It's just an empty wall.
Okay, so by leaving it where it is, there's a shed on the left-hand side.
Yeah, if I conform, it can still be in the same place. So I'm not going to close it, I'm actually just going the other way. Which is my second double wall.
Any questions from the public? Any comments from the public? All right, we'll close the public hearing portion.
Just make sure Nicole gets those photographs.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Anyone like to make a motion?
I'll make a motion for positive resolution.
A second.
All right, Mr. Eskenazi? Mr. Villalobos?
Yes.
Ms. Whitman?
Yes.
Mr. Fujioli?
Yes.
Mr. Lemansky?
Yes.
Mr. Karamazza?
Yes.
Vice Chairman DeGenaro?
Yes.
And Chairman Fuller?
Yes.
Thank you very much.
So,
Thank you, guys.
ladies? What? No, Mr. Donner, thank you very much.
My wife will throw me out if I change it. That's it.
That was a bit longer than the 5 minutes I was promised, so I apologize, but I appreciate it.
You're welcome. And you too. Have a good day.
Have a seat.
Yes, sir. Oh, this is sorry, folks, this is, 2 Texas Avenue LLC, 219 Lewis Street, Block 17, lots 26 and 44 in the R4 zone.
Good evening, members of the board. I'm Jeffrey Donner. I'm representing 2 Texas Avenue LLC, which is the owner of 219 Lewis Street. We were back here we were actually here on September 29th, and at that time, we did present engineering testimony, and we began with the first portion of Mr. O'Neill's architectural, which would have been planning testimony. At that time, we felt that there were disparities in the board, the drawing board.
Oh, yeah, I guess,
It's a hand mic. Good evening, everybody. Better? Okay. As I was saying, I'm Jeffrey Donner. I'm here representing the applicant 2 Texas Avenue LLC. We were first here on September 29th, at which time we were seeking a set of variances in order to convert an existing non-conforming commercial use into a single-family residential property. We, at that time, presented extensive testimony from our engineer, Walter Hopkins, went through all of the issues on his plot plan and drainage and things of that nature, and then we proceeded with the beginning of Mr. O'Neill's testimony as our architect and our planner. But in the course of his testimony, we recognized that there were some disparities with the application, and at the board's request, we adjourned our presentation and went back to the drawing board to refigure the design of the single-family residence. So just to refresh your memories, this is an undersized lot. It's very narrow, 35 feet in width, but it's very deep, 225.5 feet in depth. Because of the unusual shape of the property, there are a number of variances involved, and Mr. O'Neill will get into what they are. Most of them arise from the pre-existing conditions on the property, and frankly, as I can tell you, as Mr. O'Neill will testify and justify his statements, if we didn't get the variances that we're seeking, we really could not do the building that we're looking to do, and the property could not be converted from its existing non-conforming use to the residential proposal. What I'd like to do at this point in time is start with the testimony of Mr. O'Neill, because I don't think there are, at this point, very many issues about the engineering. I saw Mr. Matlett's letter. He seems to be satisfied with the interaction between Mr. Hopkins and himself, and he has no issues or questions at this time. But I think the focus of the application was on Mr. O'Neill's testimony, and that's where I would like to start at this point. So
let me mark in the new exhibits that we have.
Yes.
Nicole, you confirm we're up to A7 is the next exhibit?
I believe so.
A6 is next. All right. We have A5, I'm sorry. We have the drainage report is in new, is it? That was submitted previously?
That was A3.
Okay. So we have new architectural plans which will be A5 that's been revised as of November 4th, 2025. And then we have a revised plot plan, which we're going to mark in as A6, which is revised through November 6, 2025. So I think those are the applicant's two new exhibits. We then have revised letters on behalf of our staff. And what do we have to do on that? Do we have that also?
We have B4
We're up to B4.
B4.
Okay, so B4 will be the zoning officer's new report dated November 14th, 2025. B5 will be the board planner's report dated November 18th, 2025. And B6 will be the board engineer's report dated November 17th, 2025. Go ahead, Mr. Donovan.
Thank you, Mr. Epstein.
When you said the architectural plans, do you include the elevations?
All we have are the architectural plans prepared by your firm, dated February 21st, 2025, revised through November 4th, 2025.
So it's all the sheets in that set?
Yes.
Okay, that's.
Assuming it was on package. Yes.
Just one clarify.
So as noted, I'd like to proceed with the testimony of Mr. O'Neill, our architect and planner. I believe he's been previously qualified by the board in both disciplines, and is he still considered under oath, or do you want to re-swear him?
Still under oath.
Okay, thank you. Mr. O'Neill, we've had some brief background presented to the board as to where we are. I'd like you to address the application in terms of what changes have you made to the architectural plans between our last appearance on September 29th and tonight?
Well, probably the major change would be the reduction in the size of the building. So the initial plan we brought last time was 4,592 square feet. That's old and new. And that's been reduced to 3,823 square feet, which is a 769 square foot reduction. Realizing that the existing building is 1,960 square feet on the first floor, and that the second floor existing is 800 square feet. So those exist as of the moment. So almost the entire addition is here, the red line, and the one bathroom in the back. So that's the addition and that. So all of this other stuff, all of this exists. Now, the existing building has been reduced in size, but it isn't reflected in the building coverage because it has a roof over it, which is this part back here. So this is a 9 by 40 foot space. So the existing building now has a wall here. We are pushing that back 9 feet, which has, the logic of the 9 feet has to do with the structural system of the old building. And that would be, the roof would remain, that's existing, but that would be our outdoor space. And the idea is that this would become a shaded space to the proposed pool, which is adjacent to it. So those are all reductions in the livable square footage of the building.
I'd like you to detail also the specific changes in the floor plan that have been brought about with your new plan.
So we have brought this wall, that is the wall of the staircase, in approximately 2 feet, 2 feet based on the building's coverage. We've also reduced the building 2 feet from the street, and those together with the second floor plan eliminating one of the bedrooms, and then the other bedroom has become an exercise room for Mr. Matute, and we maintained one bathroom. We removed the other bathroom. Originally there were 2. So those are the things that have been altered in the architectural plan. So again, if we just take the numbers off the plan, the existing building is 1,960 square feet on the first floor. We're proposing a 476 square foot addition on the first floor. That makes it 2,436 square feet on the first floor. And the second floor existing is 800 square feet. We're proposing a 587 square foot addition. That makes the second floor 1,387 square feet. So the total building size would be 3,823 square feet, which again is a 769 square foot reduction from last.
Reduction from what? Excuse me?
From last we met.
From the last plan.
Yeah.
But I think you said it was a 4,592 square foot original proposal, which is now 3,823 square feet.
Correct.
Okay. Can you take us inside this process a little bit? I think you've used the term, if not before the board, in our discussions about an adaptive project. What do you mean by that?
Well, the existing building is a light industrial building. It was built, I'm not sure how long ago, but definitely over 100 years.
Do we know what the use is?
We believe, my understanding was that it was a cabinet shop.
Okay, do we have any documentation as to, I'm just trying,
Yeah,
part of the
I
argument is
understand.
that it's a pre-existing non-conforming commercial building.
Yes.
But if you don't know the specific use and don't have a certificate of non-conformity, I don't think you can make that argument. That's the question I have.
Okay.
Well, I think we knew from the record that it was a place that made cabinetry, and we set that forth last time. It's not an issue. This is the first time anybody I'm aware of has challenged whether it's a non-conforming commercial use. It certainly has not been a residential use.
No,
And
the question I have, Jeff,
Yeah.
is if you were to apply for a certificate of occupancy tomorrow, could you use that for a non-commercial use?
You mean a commercial use?
A commercial use, yeah, non-residential.
I hear what you're saying, but our intent is not to maintain the commercial use. We're looking to waive the commercial use and convert it to a residential use.
Yeah, and the point I'm saying is I don't know, you haven't made an argument that you have a commercial use there. You have a former commercial building, no question. But what the use was is the question.
Well,
If it's commercial use, if it was an office, it's one thing. If it was a cabinet contractor who made cabinets, it's another thing. If it was a pharmacy, it's another thing. When you have a pre-existing non-conforming use, you have to narrow down the specific use. You can't just say it's a commercial building.
well, I could argue that under the building code, it would never be allowed to be a residential use. It would have to be commercial.
That might be.
So, and that has to do with, the fact that there's a front door that doesn't, it's an overhead door that doesn't, it isn't weatherproofed at all. It's a rough concrete floor.
But you're using a lot of that existing building for the proposed residence, correct?
With massive amounts of renovation in order to meet a residential building code use.
I think what he's saying, and Jim, correct me if I'm wrong, is part of your criteria that you're putting forth here is that you're converting it from a non-conforming use into a conforming use, and therefore you're asking the board to give you relief, ignoring the fact that this is a very oddly shaped building. And I think what Jim is saying, in order to do that, you kind of have to establish for us that you actually have the right to continue a non-conforming use on the site.
Exactly.
If you weren't here getting the resident, otherwise it just falls apart. If this is something that's been abandoned for 200 years, and I'm purposely exaggerating, it sort of becomes a moot point, and you're really not doing anything because you couldn't reopen as a commercial use anyway.
All right. Well, this is the first time this issue has been raised. It's not in Mr. Higgins' report. And, we do not come prepared with a certificate of a given use. I mean, we could go back to the building department and I'm sure determine that what the use was. I just want to ask
You wouldn't need a certificate of nonconformity.
Yeah.
What you need is just some evidence, some testimony. When was the last time this place was used as a cabinet shop?
Yes.
Yeah. Can I just have one moment?
I apologize. The first time you're hearing this from me is because it's the first time I'm hearing it from you because I was sick at the last hearing and I wasn't here.
Okay, but it's not in any of your reports. I just need one moment to talk to my client. Do you have any discussions with anybody? My client has direct information on first-hand observation as to the prior use of this. So if this becomes an issue, I can put him on right now, or we can put him on next, but we can have testimony for the board as to the specific use that he observed in existence. Okay?
Why don't you put him on now?
All right. We'll interrupt Mr. O'Neill's testimony with the permission of the board, and we call Mr. Jeff Muthoot.
Swear testimony you're about to give would be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
Go ahead, and just say your name for the record.
Jeffrey Nathaniel Matute, M-A-T-U-T.
And your address, Mr. Matute?
448 Holly Terrace, Deal, New Jersey, 077.
Thank you, go ahead.
Mr. Muthoot, you are the principal of the applicant to Texas LLC?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And were you involved in the acquisition of this property by Two Texas?
Yes, sir.
At the time that you were involved in that acquisition process, did you have an opportunity to make observations about the building and its use?
Yes, sir.
And
I visited 3 times.
All right. And what were your observations?
So the first time I went, there were building cabinets. The second time, they were winding down. And the third time, they stopped operations, and there was still cabinet factory, tables and whatnot. I have photographs of everything, and I have a video as well.
Okay.
And when was this?
It was prior to purchasing the building. It was a quick closing, so if memory serves me correct, it was back in February, I want to say 2021, maybe 2020. I have photographs. I'm trying to find the exact date.
But approximately February 2021, you observed it being utilized as a cabinet shop?
Yes. There was dust, sawdust all over the place.
And since your acquisition of the property through Two Texas, have you done anything to formally waive the opportunity or right to make that use? Is that still, in your mind, a non-conforming available use for the property?
I don't want to use it as a cabinet factory. That's the question.
Well, that may be your intent, but have you taken any formal action to waive the right for that use? Okay. I would submit to the board that we've made adequate presentation of the facts on a first-hand basis by Mr. Mathout, that this is and has been a cabinetry shop manufacturing cabinets, and that he observed that operation in existence at or about the time that he purchased the property.
Can I ask, since he's up, why won't you just tear down the building as it is and just build a house?
It's pre-existing.
I understand it's pre-existing, but it's very weird. I mean, just to be blatantly honest, I think that's one of the concerns of everyone. It's in the planner's letter. Why wouldn't you just tear this down, and you're already building this entire addition to the house? I mean, I'm sorry, you're building new. You're just building this complete new extension. You're basically trying to convert a cabinet shop, which you just testified to, into living space. And it sort of is bizarre. I think it's bizarre, and I think that's what Mr. Hagan's concern is. He notes it in his letter. It's not making a lot of sense to a lot of people.
So if you did a walkthrough like I did, with a creative mind like Mr. O'Neill, it would make a lot of sense. And it's a masonry building. It's a very, very strong structure. It's similar to what goes up in Florida, to withstand a hurricane, 140 mile an hour winds of that nature. And the addition is not really that big. We're just going out a few feet.
Well, you're going out more than a few feet, but I mean, you're building a lot. All that you're remaining from what you started with is this gym area that you're adding a bathroom to, and then a large place for storage.
Actually, the storage is already there. There's a second floor.
I understand that.
So that's going to remain the same. All we're doing is, because there's no basement. and there's no opportunity for a basement, so we need a storage. So that's gonna be used on that, in that space to the right. And on the left, that's gonna be the gym, and there's gonna be a bathroom.
And would you agree, as suggested in the planner's letter, to a deed restriction, that if you ever convert that from a gym or a storage space, that you would come back to this board for further relief?
Yeah, I believe we would need some kind of relief from the board. We would agree to a deed restriction that we would not have multifamily, okay?
That's not what I'm asking.
No, but that takes care of your concern.
No, it does not. Because you can have one family. The definition of what one family is very large.
Yeah, but I don't understand the problem here, okay? This is a piece of property my client owns. He can legally occupy it, okay? Your comments about whether it's bizarre or not were not reflected in Mr. Higgins' letter, and it has nothing to do with the law. He's entitled to build what he wants, as long as he adheres to the zoning ordinances and satisfies this, let me finish, and satisfies this board that the variances are justified.
So let me
To say that his concept is bizarre is not fair
So,
and not true.
Mr. Donner, since you just said that I reflected something that was not in Mr. Higgins' report, let me read what Mr. Higgins' report uses, and we'll...
Did he use the word bizarre? Did he use the word bizarre?
He used unusually large and has an unusual shape.
That's not bizarre.
Okay, it's a synonym.
Okay, you use the word, no, it's not. You use the word bizarre, which is pejorative and negative, and can influence this board that we're trying to do something that is unsatisfactory and undesirable. And with all due respect, counsel, and we have a great relationship, and I like you, I object.
If you object, I will retract the word bizarre, and I'll switch it to unusual, and unusually large and unusual shape. And the current plan remains one of the former bedrooms, we named one of the former bedrooms an exercise room, and the other former bedroom, which no longer has a bathroom attached to it, as for storage only. One concern is that a future owner could convert these to bedrooms, creating a dormitory type of situation. Given the unusual shape and size of the two rooms, I recommend that consideration be given to a condition of any approval, should the board decide to approve the application, be that these two rooms not be used as bedrooms and a deed restriction be provided to the effect that the dwelling shall only be used as a single-family dwelling as defined in the land development ordinance.
Okay, and my position on behalf of the client is we will certainly agree to a deed restriction not permitting multifamily, but I don't see the need for restricting the prerogatives of some future owner down the road who would have to come back to the board anyway, okay? And by the way, the second bedroom doesn't have a bathroom. It can't qualify as a bedroom by itself. One of the rooms doesn't even have a window, so that can't be a bedroom.
You don't need a bathroom to have a bedroom.
So, but we're not looking to pull something off here. We're looking to finish Mr. Matut's dream of what he wants to do in a matter, maybe it's different than what most people would do. But this is America, and he does have a right to try to convince this board that he has the characteristics and qualities that qualify this project for approval. And that's what we're trying to do. That's all we're trying to do.
So he's unwilling then to eliminate some of these variances, and there's a lot of variances here, which could be eliminated if you just tore this building down and started anew.
Well, one second. The lot is 35 feet wide, okay? We could not exist under the zoning requirements of this zone and build anything other than a 10-foot wide house, okay? If we adhered to the setback, side yard setback requirements, and some of the other variances that Mr. Higgins has noted in his report, we would be left with a 10-foot wide house, okay? So we have to, anything we put up here, we would have to have similar variances in order to have anything.
There's no question about that. But you'd have an easier time building a house if this structure that you currently have, which is an unusual structure, was not being added onto, and you started from anew.
We'd have to build a new house and still seek the same variances, otherwise it would be 10 feet wide.
No, you wouldn't.
No, you wouldn't. You could build a new house and have variances that would be much less than this. And quite frankly, you could build a new house that would meet the building coverage requirement and not exceed it by 439 square feet.
I have a question. This is being used as commercial, industrial. Let's just say that you don't do the addition in front. Can it be residential now? Does it need a variance to go?
It might, no, well, there are two different questions here. I mean, from a habitability standpoint, from getting a CO, which has nothing to do with zoning, theoretically, yes. If they refab this area and it meets the criteria to get a CO for a residential dwelling, he could turn this into a residential dwelling because that's what's permitted in the zone. I don't know that it would meet CO requirements as currently constituted. It probably would not, but that's not a land use consideration.
Hey, I'll be honest, I got a lot of problems. I got problems with everything on this thing. It's,
Well, I think we're entitled to at least present our application and an opportunity to answer your questions.
And that's why I asked the applicant, while he was sitting here, whether he considered tearing this down, and as Mr. Higgins said, it would alleviate a lot of the variances that you're asking for. The answer, as I've understood it from Mr. Donner and from, I don't know if your client actually said it, but I'll let you speak for him, is that he's unwilling to do that. And this is the house he wants, and this is the house he's insisting that he apply for, and that's your right, and you can put on your case.
Thank you.
I do have a question also. Why would it be a problem with deed restriction not to convert those rooms to a bedroom?
Be a problem now?
He asked about a deed restriction, if you were willing to put a deed restriction not to convert the weight room and the other room into bedrooms. What would be the problem with that?
I just felt, from a legal standpoint, it was unnecessary to constrict the prerogatives of a future owner. He's not going to...
But you're not representing a future owner. You're representing an applicant that's here in front of us now, and we're talking about now, not what's in the future.
It has a reflection on the value of the property and who might want to buy the property after Mr. Matute has decided to sell it. So we would definitely agree it can't be multifamily.
Are we looking to build the house or add on to it and then sell the property? Is that what the
Not immediately, to my knowledge. He's looking to use it and enjoy it.
Okay.
But property has an extrinsic value, and its value increases over time. And I don't think it's a problem or anything unusual to consider impacts of certain restrictions on value, ultimately, of the property. He's making a major investment here.
Right. But the reason why you're here is because it's not allowed, and you're asking permission.
We're here because we believe we qualify for certain variances from the standards of the zone.
Right.
And we have a legal right to pursue it.
Absolutely, you do. Thank you.
and that now we just erase towards that bedroom, and now it's storage and exercise room.
Well, no, I think there have been other changes. We haven't gotten to those changes. We've taken off 769 square feet from our prior proposal. And I was going to ask Mr. O'Neill to point out specifically what has been changed, but there has been movement of the walls, etc. Also, some of the variances have changed as well, including the side yard variance on the north elevation. And we definitely increased that to a degree.
This front,
Jim, quick question. How many more, given the current parking there now, how many more bedrooms could be added? Could they add more bedrooms given the current parking?
The way that the parking is set up, you can't tell.
Okay.
There's really aren't any parking spaces shown there. It looks to me like you can only park 2 cars there. You can't park the cars perpendicular to the driveway because there's not enough depth there.
And in fact, we've reduced the size of the driveway, so we would not have the additional space of that original driveway. We've narrowed that driveway.
on the front building, what are your setbacks from the neighbors versus that narrow part, which, those setbacks? Can you tell me?
On the north elevation, the side yard setback, as originally proposed, was 0.23 feet. Okay, less than 1 foot. With the changes that we have made, we've increased that side yard setback by an additional 2 feet, and it varies now between 2.1 feet and 2.5 feet, depending on which part of the building you're looking at. The other side of the building has a 9.94 or 9.92 setback, which, because of a cantilever addition on the second floor, has been reduced to 8.82. But essentially, from a visible standpoint, would not look changed whatsoever. All of these setbacks are occurring because the property is only 35 feet wide. Mr. Higgins does note in his first planning letter that that is, without a doubt, a hardship. the 35 feet
There's no
width.
question you have a hardship, but that doesn't automatically mean that you get the benefit of the approval. Because you still have to prove the negative criteria, and you still potentially are creating your own hardship in some ways by trying to exasperate what you already have on the site.
Look, I didn't say that the hardship that Mr. Higgins conceded was the sole answer and the sole qualification for the variances. I'm aware of positive criteria and negative criteria, and we're prepared to address it.
So let's talk about, and Jim, this is just touched on, the parking spaces.
Yeah, I just clarification on the ordinance.
Yeah, because I thought you brought up a very good point. And so, Jim, how many car spaces are currently allowed? I mean, how many car spaces are currently required?
I'm trying to remember the number of bedrooms.
There are, I don't think.
Right now,
Three
bedrooms.
Right now, there are 3 bedrooms.
Three noted.
Three noted.
So that would require 2 parking spaces.
Yes.
And if they add a 4th bedroom, it would still require 2.
No, if they had 4 bedrooms, no, they would require more than that.
You're talking about the RSIS standards? I think it would be 3 if we added a 4th bedroom.
So that's kind of the concern, right? You don't have the parking to accommodate, and
Yeah, we're not,
trying to understand why there's a double vanity in an exercise room bathroom.
Gonna ask that.
I mean, that's a pretty impressive bathroom for an exercise room. It's better than the bathroom in the bedrooms. It leads me to believe that this could be converted to a bedroom without our knowledge.
it's not our intent to do that. That's not what we're planning to do.
Why not agree to the deed restriction that these won't be turned into bedrooms?
Well, I did agree to the deed restriction, it would not be multifamily.
I'm saying not be turned into a bedroom.
No, he's asking for a condition on a deed restriction on that. But, look, because I believe that the future owner would have to come back to the board anyway, so as long as it's just a condition and not a deed restriction, we could
But you always can
probably
list a
agree
deed
on that.
restriction by coming back to the board. My problem with it not being a deed restriction is that the next owner comes in, they're not gonna know what the condition of a resolution is. They're never gonna see a resolution. But if there's a deed restriction, it comes up, and the deed restriction would have, and all my deed restrictions that we ever do ever before our boards, always has language in it that you can come back to the board and ask for a release of the deed restriction.
I'm just making the point, Mr. Higgins didn't ask for a deed restriction on that point.
But
Only on multifamily, you're adding it now.
And the board's asking for it too.
Yeah, I think the board's also asking for the deed restriction on the bedrooms.
Jeff, I have no objection to that.
No objection. His attorney was too fastidious, okay?
I have no need for it.
Okay.
And here are the pictures of the cabinet factory.
All right. Showing me a picture of the cabinet factory. I think we're beyond that point.
All
All right,
so
so,
you're consenting, thank you.
right.
Go ahead.
So what I'd like to do, now that we have Mr. Matook's testimony, and we know it was a cabinet factory, and I have a photograph of it, I'd like to bring Mr. O'Neill back.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. And Mr. Lineski, don't hold back. I want to know what's on your mind, because we can answer these questions.
The setback's really bothering me.
All right, okay.
You can't even get a wheelbarrow behind the house.
I think you can now, a wheelbarrow, and probably a lawnmower. Under our new proposal, you can, but that's something else. All right. Mr. O'Neill, you're still sworn. I'd like you to go in specifically and discuss what are the spaces that you've made allowance for under the current architectural plans, so the board understands exactly what you've done, what rooms there are, and why you've done it.
Okay, so, I hope I'm not repeating myself, but the changes we made since the last time we were here, where we moved this wall, north wall, in 2 feet, we moved the front elevation wall in 2 feet, we eliminated this as occupiable area by having it as storage, and we eliminated the bathroom that previously was here. So now, in essence, what the house is you walk in, there's an open foyer with a staircase that goes up to a loft to the 2nd floor. You walk through, past the master bedroom, you walk through into a dining area with a kitchen, living room here. This is the master bathroom, a powder room, a pantry. his and her closets, the master bedroom, and then these series of doors open out onto the pool. When you get to the second floor here, there's a small study area, study loft. You walk in, there's one bedroom, two bedrooms, and they share a bathroom, kind of a Jack and Jill bathroom. And then there's a door into an exercise room with the one bathroom here. And again, you know, I am trying to explain that when you actively reuse a building, there are going to be inherent inefficiencies, because there's going to be spaces that are sized for, in this case, machinery, not for a dining room table. So this is the building that exists. We are only reducing this area here. This is the addition, and with all due respect to Mr. Higgins, I don't see the bizarre shape. It's a rectangle.
We abandoned the word bizarre, and we're using the word unusual.
Well, I'm sorry.
Mr. Donner's
Thank you.
objection.
But even as an unusual thing, it's a rectangle. I mean, the building is a rectangle.
I got
He's
a
referring to the second
very
floor.
long rectangle. I got, the
Not
second.
really, not really.
Second floor is what he's referring to.
Right. Well, the second floor is, this is another rectangle, and this is the existing attic of this space.
Yeah, it's existing.
So it's not that it's been created, it's there. So all we're doing is taking one half. Now, this is something that is unusual, and it's really actually very unique. When the building was built, this right here is a 7 to 8 foot tall, man-made wood truss. It was made in the field and put up there, and off of it are other trusses. This holds the entire roof up, and if you notice here, there are no columns. That makes the building unique. And I like to use the word unique rather than unusual,
That's fine.
if I may, Mr. Lex.
I approve. I'll use
It's
the word
unique because when Mr. Matute took me into the space, he said, "What do you think it looks like?" Now, without looking at the fact that I was looking out the windows or anything, I said, "This is like a New York loft. This is the kind of space in Soho that people paid, you know, their life savings for, because it was one big open space. And you could fit the kitchen, the living room, the dining room, and the utility spaces all in this area."